Welcome to episode 125 of the Muck Podcast, a member of the Odd Pods Media Network. Listen in as we discuss the dark and sometimes weird true stories in American politics. I'm Tina Jaramillo.
And I'm Hiiiii Doherty.
Hillary.
Beautiful face in person.
Oh my god, what a 2 weeks this has been.
The two of us have been through it, honey. Through it.
Oh my god.
I'm over it already.
Me too.
Fuck COVID. Fuck everything.
Fuck fucking COVID. Like, honestly, like, we can't be done with COVID. And I've already done COVID with my children, and I had to do it again.
Yeah.
Like, that's some bullshit.
Yeah. But you were saying last night you think it was one of your sons tested positive, but you were thinking, this is last week, that it was maybe a false positive.
Maybe a false or
who knows?
Or maybe he had minor symptoms for days, and then we didn't realize it till he tested. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But everybody in your family tested negative. I continued to test negative even though my kids were here with me all week. I mean, that was a fucking miracle.
Oh my god.
But what a nightmare. And I have to tell you, like, the numbers are going up.
Yes.
So
we know people. We know
it's happening in our houses. So like, let's all try to get back onto that, because I'm still going to events and people are still not wearing masks. And when you're in the middle of COVID, like when I went to the grocery store when the kids were here sick, I had I double masked going to the grocery store.
Yeah.
And there's people, most people aren't wearing masks anymore. And I felt a little judged by people, but I thought to myself, I just want to scream out, or wear a shirt that says, my kids are at home with COVID.
Yeah.
I just want you to know.
Oh my God.
It's a real thing still.
No, it's a real thing. I mean, thankfully, thanks to the vaccine, because, my son was vaccinated, his symptoms were very, very mild. And I don't know if that's how it was, only maybe a 2-day thing and it kind of knocked it out. Or maybe because he had COVID before, plus he had the vaccine, that his body, kind of, it wasn't the full force of it. I don't know. I'm not.
My son had the full force of it. My son had the full force. My daughter did not. She had like a sore throat and runny nose.
Yeah, that was my son.
But my son and his poor little body, anything you could imagine. That long list of like, here's all the things that could be COVID or symptoms of COVID, he fucking had it.
Oh my god.
He had this like weird little circle rash that like moved around his face.
Wow.
One afternoon, around 4 o'clock, he comes to me, he's like, my eyes hurt. He's got stuff coming out of his eyes. His eyes are like bloodshot red.
No.
And I look it up and it's like pink eyes, 1 to 3% of people who get COVID. And I'm like,
no. And that's like so contagious too.
Yeah, so I'm like, now you need to stay in your room, because I was isolating in my room, but the two of them had the run of the house. So he goes to bed that night. He wakes up the next day, no pink eye. Like, it was just weird, like, waves of fucking shit coming at him. It was so horrible. So horrible.
And thank God that it wasn't worse than that.
Yeah, no, I'm happy about that. So here we are, finally back together, and it's a huge day for us.
I can't tell you that the excitement is building and building. Yeah. I am beyond, I don't even know. Like, I cannot wait. I cannot wait to just put that feeling when you put on a dress that you love?
Yes.
I fucking love my dress.
Me too.
And I have not loved a dress in years. Like, I have worn dresses and I'm like, okay, yeah, it's cute, or oh yeah, like this is fine. But this dress, I'm like, oh my God, I love how I look in it. Yeah. I love and this is like the first like post-boob situation dress. Yeah. So like, sometimes it's been hard for me to like figure out like what fits me, because I always knew before like what fit me really well. And so I was very nervous, and I'm so happy.
Oh my God. Well, we are recording on May 21st, Saturday. And tonight is our Dolphin Dems Gala.
Yes.
Which we sit on the board of. And so we haven't had a gala in like 2 years.
Yeah, well.
Because of COVID.
But yeah, the 2021 got canceled. Yes. Yeah.
So here we are.
Here we are.
And we're so excited. And I just can't wait for that ball to start rolling. Once everybody starts arriving, and then the ball starts rolling, like it's going to be so much fun. And there's going to be an after party.
The after party is what I'm waiting for.
Drag show. I'm so fucking stoked. And I'm wearing not one but 2 dresses, bitch.
And a friend of mine said to me last night. I can't wait to see this after party dress.
A friend of mine said to me last night, "What are you, Beyonce?" I said, "That's right. I'm Beyonce, Queen Bee."
We can all be Beyonce.
That's right.
Woo!
I'm excited. And we've been working really fucking hard, too.
Yes.
Like, you know, I was up till 1 o'clock in the morning cutting ribbons and gluing them and putting pins in them, which I volunteered to do. I said, Alfredo, I'm not doing anything Friday night. If you want to give me something to do, he's like, you want to cut ribbon? I'm like, sure.
Oh, my God.
So now I'm floating, watching Sex and the City reruns, cutting ribbons and gluing them.
I mean, that sounds kind of fun.
It was fucking nice. I gotta say. I'm not complaining. I loved it.
Oh my God.
So yeah, I'm very excited, and we're awarding some incredible people in our community and in the state of Florida. So I'm really, really excited, especially one of our friends, two of our friends actually.
Yes.
Miss Sarah Leonardi. Broward County School Board member is getting Ally of the Year.
And let me tell you, she is so incredible.
Yeah.
She speaks out all of the time, regardless of you know, the backlash she may get from some of these nut jobs in the community. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It's so important for our students and the staff of schools to know that there is someone speaking out for them. And it's just, I love her so much. I'm so proud of her. And she's incredible.
She's incredible.
She is incredible.
She is. And she's got one of those great husbands, you know, who's so supportive, and he just shows up to everything and walks next to her. He's very friendly and kind, and he's funny, and you could tell they're just super in love. I love when you see couples like that. You know what I mean?
Yes.
The other person that we love so much, who listens to the podcast,
Hiiiii,
is Nancy Fry.
Yes.
So, Nancy is the president of the Broward Young Democrats, and she served on the Women's March Broward board with us.
Oh my God.
Lovely, lovely lady.
And here is another woman, young mother, and man, she brings her kids everywhere. Like her kids are so immersed in the work that she does, and it's so amazing. Like, it's giving me goosebumps right now, because I feel like that's what we all should be doing. I try to bring my kids to things as much as I can, and she does so much work for so many different communities and organizations, and always has her kids in tow. And I just think it's so awesome. Like, I'm like, that is it. Like, that is like that's what we should all like strive to be. Yeah. You know, I love it.
She's incredible.
Yeah.
So I think, I'm presenting her award to her. So I wrote a few things, but I have to finish writing something before 2 o'clock because we have a rehearsal at 2. So. But also, what else do you have? What else? Do you have anything?
I have negative things.
Okay, well that's all right. Let's get into it, because I have something good to end on before we start the stories. So let's get into the horrible shit this week.
Let me get into. Of course, I have to mention Buffalo.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
And it wasn't just Buffalo. California then had something, and then I watched a very short video that just showed like I think like the past month in America and how many mass shootings, and it's we are out of control. Yeah. And the fact that this mass shooting happened to be tied to again a young white boy who, indoctrinated or not, is a supremacist, who had a manifesto on replacement theory, that bullshit. And the irony of ironies of all of that is, you have your Tucker Carlsons, you have all these people that kind of like use the dog whistles to talk about things that are basically about replacement theory, right? And what are they so afraid of, right? They're so afraid to be replaced, to be the minority. I wonder why. Why are white people afraid of that? Give me a break. Like, they're so stupid. Are they afraid of being oppressed? Is that what they're afraid of? The oppression that doesn't exist in this country? Right. It's so disgusting. And honestly, like, to have like a news station, or what's labeled a news station, have people that are spouting this garbage is frightening. Yeah. It's frightening. And then you have the Elon Musks of the world who don't want to, they want to allow all free speech because they're racist pieces of shit too. It's what are we coming to? It's insane. It's insane. Yeah. And they don't want to teach history, right? They don't want to have books about race or LGBTQ or anything like that, right? Because there's no problem, yet we see what happened in Buffalo, but there's no problem in America. It's so stupid. It's so incredibly stupid.
But it's also like that. It's also, I mean, it's that white supremacy, but it's that male toxic issues as well. I mean, during that, when the kids had COVID last week, by Tuesday or Wednesday, I couldn't get off the floor in my room. I was so fucking upset, and like, it set into a depression. I can't even explain it. It had a lot to do with my co-parent didn't have a lot of support for me last week, right? So like that made it a little bit more difficult, and I felt very alone. But I know what it's like to get like really down and get dark, right? Like you feel so down.
Right.
Where are you as a person that you pick up a gun like that and specifically target Black people? Like where the fuck are you in your head, and how far gone is that? Like at some point, all of these shooters have had incidences with the police, incidences in schools, family members who saw things and then kind of just was like, oh, it'll be fine. There's got to be a point where somebody steps in and helps these folks, because
we have a disease. This is a disease. White supremacy it's a disease in this country, and we are rotten to the core. I feel like that's the core of our country, and now this disease is spreading and spreading and spreading, and it like we have to find a way to stop this. And things like reading books on race, right? And these other things are things that allow people to have empathy and understanding of people that are different from them. But they don't want that.
But it's also about, it is this white man thing.
Yeah.
And it's the fear of losing power. It's the fear of because like they're usually the less than, right? Like they're nerds or they're geeks in school and they're bullied or whatever, right? They're less than. And what do they need to do? They need to feel more powerful than somebody else.
Right.
And so white people, it's been a thing that white, rich, powerful white people have always kind of trickled down to poor whites.
Right.
Is that you have it bad, but at least you're not Black.
Right.
Right? And that was always a thing when poor whites and Blacks tried to get together throughout time in this country and try to organize together. Somehow the people in power always found a way to tell the white people and convince them to leave the people of color behind. It happened with women, it happened with slaves, it happened with, right? And so, not slaves, I'm sorry, but poor like labor folks, like when they were trying to organize, things like that. So like, why? Do you know what I mean? Like that's what's happening here.
Right.
When they're targeting people of colors because somehow somebody has othered them.
Right.
And made them think they're the problem. They're the reason you're poor. They're the reason. You know what I mean?
Yeah. The other thing is, I feel like it's time to start rooting this shit out and calling people what they are.
Yeah.
Because just like back in the time of, the witches and they wanted to root out the devil. Well, the devil is white supremacy. And we need to root out the devil in America, and we need to start calling people out for what they are and just keep doing it. We need to keep doing it. I don't know.
It's unfortunate because there's still a strong media presence, like even with social media, where they'll come up with excuses. I saw, it's not a funny meme, but it's funny. But it was like, oh, I heard the Buffalo shooter had a toothache. Like that was his problem. Like just giving an excuse. Like it was like a jokey meme, but it was like, here's another excuse of white men going to shoot up places. It's like, oh, my tooth hurts, I'm going to kill everybody.
It's everything but what it is.
Right.
It's
But it's also the way that it's portrayed in the media, the way the shooter was portrayed in the media.
My God.
One of these Black teenagers that was killed by the police, they said 19-year-old Black man. That's how they described him. But they're describing this kid as 19-year-old white teenager. Right. And it's like, wait a minute.
Of course.
You know what I mean?
Of course.
Yeah.
It's pervasive. It's everywhere. And those are the things that people have to keep calling out. And then as, mothers to sons.
Yep.
Like we have a lot of work to do, and white women, this is where white women need to really do some work and really look at their own families and the people in their families and talking about, like, I talk to my sons about this shooting, and my sons are, they're part Latino, they're, whatever, but they, can walk through the world and look white, you know what I mean? Especially my oldest more than my youngest, and they need to understand like what that means and what they look like and what that means in the world.
Yeah.
And that they can't keep their mouth shut.
Yeah. Well, it reminds me, I don't know if you saw this video, it was going viral this week. It was like an Uber driver.
Oh, yes.
And he has a camera in his car.
Yes.
And he's a white guy.
Oh,
and this drunk woman, like, the white woman gets in the car and she's like, oh, you're white? And he's like, what? And she's like, oh, I didn't know you were white. They're always sending people who aren't white. Or something like that.
Yeah.
And he's like,
and you speak English?
Yo, you speak English?
So gross. Like,
and
get
he was
the hell
like,
out.
You can get out. And she's like, what? And he's like, you can get out.
Yeah, and guess what? And then what did her husband say?
Yeah, and then he said an N-word lover.
Yes.
I mean...
They're not racist.
But that's what it means to be an ally.
Yeah.
That guy lost money.
He's like,
he lost the fair, right? Like, he lost it. Because you have to fucking say.
This is what we have to just keep doing everywhere. I mean, we have to keep doing it everywhere.
I've said that to my son several times because he is as white as you can imagine. And I said, I've told him many times, and as a 10-year-old, he's probably like, blah, 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 like, but I said, you sit in the most powerful position ever. Like, you have so much power you don't even know. And I hope you use your voice to see something wrong, speak up. Always, always, always. You have to do it.
And take a back seat sometimes. How about that?
Yeah.
That's,
Yeah. Well, the other thing I want to mention that I find so odd, and I mean, I don't want to get into the specifics of the case or the trial because I really don't know them.
Uh-oh.
But I'm kind of fucking creeped the fuck out.
Uh-oh.
By the pro Johnny Depp, anti Amber Heard.
Uh-oh.
You're pro Johnny Depp? Here's the thing.
I know.
He's got a really long history of domestic violence and he's a temper. And
he has a temper.
But domestic violence is a real thing with this guy. And maybe she's a little dramatic. Yeah. Okay. But there's a lot there. There's a lot more. There's a lot there. I mean, he's not a good guy.
No, I don't think he's a good guy.
So, like, why is this so funny? Why is making fun of Amber Heard, who's a victim of domestic violence, Tina?
I don't know.
Really?
I've been watching so much of this.
I mean, it's really fucked up.
And
it's not funny.
There's stuff that does not hold.
Okay, fine. But he hasn't like, what about the history of this?
And I think the thing that is problematic is just because she makes these claims and then there's photos of like the very days that she's talking about and there's nothing wrong with her. Mm-hmm. That they've, they're like, oh, this is the day. Oh, you said this, and this, and there's not a mark anywhere. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So I don't know. And she seems a little cuckoo. Like when you hear like the audio tapes of stuff that she has said to him, and how she has hit him. Like I think they were both volatile.
That's the
to
thing.
Each other.
That's what this is the part that
I think they were both volatile to each other. I don't think.
But like, here's the thing.
And I think that he's a raging drunk.
Yes.
I think that he, is a drug user.
Yes.
But I don't know if I don't know. Like if this case has been, and I'm always like believe women, but in this case I'm like I don't know. And the thing that upsets me is that if this is all bullshit on her end, then this is dangerous for women.
Well, listen,
that is the
totally
thing.
Agree with
that
you.
That is the thing.
Totally
because now
agree
it's not. Now it's this whole show.
Fine.
And now women have to do more work.
But can we just stop for a second and know that these two people had a private relationship and what happened behind closed doors? What I've seen of the trial is he said, she said. And so what we have to do is rely on a jury to figure out. And now who are they going to side with?
Well,
come on. And here's the thing. All right, fuck that. Here's the thing.
I mean, there are
people like Lance Bass. You know who that is from NSYNC?
Yes.
Reenacting her shit on TikTok.
Yes.
Reenacting her testimony. This is even if let's say she's making it up and she's just fucking mentally troubled. Let's say she's mentally ill. Okay, she's on the stand and she's going through her theatrics.
When you hear her,
he's reenacting it if it's a joke. Let's say she's just mentally ill.
Right.
That shit is not fucking funny. That's not funny.
No, I mean, I think people think not so much that she's mentally ill, that she is, I mean, they think that she is like a calculating narcissist who, that's sort of the narrative that has been spun around her. But she, like, I probably have watched way too much of this than I should have. But there's times where, like, within, like, 5 minutes on the stand, she, like, it contradicts everything that she says, and it's like, no, wait a minute, you said this and now it's something else. And that's what people are making fun of, that it's like from second to second,
I understand,
nothing is making sense.
But doesn't that seem like something odd for a human being to do? Doesn't that seem weird? All right, so something's not right.
No, something's not right.
And so is the right thing to do to mock her? And to, you should, on the internet, there's hashtags, Amber Heard is an abuser, Amber Heard is a liar, Amber Turd.
Well, the Amber Turd thing is because she took a dump on his bed.
Yeah.
Okay, like she
That's what I'm saying. This is meant.
She defecated on his bed. So these are the things that they're saying. Like he has been dealing with, like someone who's taking it. Like if someone that I was with took a dump on my side of the bed because they were mad at me.
Yeah.
I don't know. I would say like you have to go. Like I would not be able. Like that is a step too far.
That's right. There's something wrong. There's something wrong, right?
There's something
wrong.
like.
Now she's on trial.
The best
stuff.
Well, she's on trial for defamation because he's claiming that he lost all these roles. But the thing is, like, a lot of people have come out now to play devil's advocate. A lot of people came out and said he lost those roles because he's a drunk, because he's not showing up on time. He's unprofessional. So, like, is this I just think that
it's two fucking morons,
and
like
I think
psychos.
He's pissed off that she was running her mouth about shit, and now he's like, well, all of that isn't true, and maybe she's embellished this, and now he's like, well, fuck, that's my reputation. His reputation may have been down the, tank anyway.
Here's the thing, I don't give a fuck about Johnny Depp, and like,
I gotta tell you my favorite part of the trial. You have to look it up. It's when Jason, the Aquaman guy.
Momoa?
Yes. When he comes on, I don't know what the hell he was doing. Like, he must have been out of his mind. I don't want to say maybe... I've never seen anything like it.
What was he doing on there?
He's like, hi, Amber. And they're like, don't talk to her. And he's like, yeah. And then he's like, Amber, we were in the pool and I saw something floating. And she said it was but it's this turd. Like, he was like crazy. He was crazy.
You see what I mean? It's a clown show.
It's a clown show. I was like, what am I watching right now?
Ooh. I didn't even know he was on there.
Yeah,
here's the thing. It was like I just think that Johnny Depp should let it go. I think he should let it go. The fact of the matter is he's older. Maybe he's losing roles because he's not that fucking great anymore. Like, let's be honest. And and he looks weird. And like he's a character of himself.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he leaves the courthouse.
He leaves the courthouse waving at people, cheering. People are cheering him on.
Yes.
And let's say at the very least he hit her a couple of times. Are we cheering for this fucking person?
No.
I mean, just seems. I think they're both a little mentally fucking ill. And the internet is having a field day with it, and I don't think it's fucking okay. It's disturbing to me.
I don't think they should have had cameras.
No!
I think that should have been, because if it was a closed case, then maybe we would have like, oh, this and this and this came out, but,
And also, how do we really ever know? If it's between these two people, and there were some times where there was people there, but like, how are we all supposed to really know what happened?
Right.
If these are the two people who are supposed to get the facts from.
Right.
In the meantime,
it's hard.
It's fucked up that this woman is being dragged like this. Right. I just find it really offensive.
I think it's also like the people that she had like around her that was living, like, he had these penthouses, and when they got married, like, he let her friends just live in the penthouses for free, like just live there. And so they came on and testified, and they're like, did you see this? And they're all like, no, but they saw things after the fact. You know what I mean?
Right.
So like they saw the room trashed, but like who knows who trashed the room?
Right.
Like, I think he did. I think he was a rager.
Yeah.
He's
been doing this since the 90s. He was breaking up hotel rooms in the 90s with Kate fucking Moss.
But she, I think, testified he never hit her. I know. But then what's-her-face came out and said that he threw a bottle at her head.
Ellen Birkin, yeah.
I don't know. It's complicated.
Gross. The whole thing's gross. The last thing I want to say is this. Ooh! The day this episode comes out, I will be driving
yes!
to St. Augustine, Florida to see Phoebe Bridgers.
Yes, girl!
Oh my god, I think I'm gonna cry.
Don't cry, it's gonna be amazing.
God.
You're gonna have so much fun. Oh my god.
And I've been looking at tickets this week. Like, remember the whole what I had to go through to get the tickets online?
Yes,
it was like kicking me out. So I was looking at tickets this week, and there's tickets that are closer.
Uh-oh.
Like in the middle and closer. I think I'm just gonna get a new ticket. It's like $70, but I think I'm just getting a ticket. And when I get there, I have these 2 tickets. I'll just fucking give them to somebody. Like, I don't care.
Oh my God.
You know?
People love that. If you just like miracle them a ticket.
And then I've been looking at her merch. I'm telling you, I'm buying like $500 of shit.
Does she just have so much cute, like the ghost stuff?
Oh,
her cute
everything is fucking skeletons, and
I love the little ghosts.
Yes,
yes. I like that.
Oh, I'm so excited. So I'm trying to avoid a lot of her early dates that have been happening right now. Like I think she's in Texas last night. Just because people put pictures up and fucking videos and stuff, and I'm just like, but I can't fucking wait. I cannot fucking wait. I'm so excited.
It's gonna be amazing.
I know.
Oh my goodness gracious.
So, good things happening, right?
Yes. Oh wait, you're first.
I am first. Are you ready?
I am.
This is very short and sweet.
Mine is kind of shortish too, so yay.
Good.
Because we have a gala.
I was going to say, we have 10 hours to get ready.
We have to. Yeah, you might see pictures of us on our Instagram.
Yes. Oh, honey, we should make a TikTok on that.
Yes, we're gonna make a TikTok.
Okay.
Ooh,
well, my second gala dress is very like Stevie Nicks witchy. So come up with a witch one for me.
Oh my God.
TikTok. Okay.
Oh my God.
Today, I am covering former Secretary of Agriculture,
Oh,
Earl Butz.
Ooh, Butz. I like that.
He was born in Albion, Indiana, and brought up on a dairy farm in Noble County, Indiana. He was the eldest of 5 children and worked on the parents' 160-acre farm while growing up. He attended a one-room country school through 8th grade and graduated from high school in a class of 7 people.
Wow, a one-room country school.
Yeah.
Can you imagine like teaching that? You'd have to teach all the different levels, you know, because you got a 4-year-old and then there's a 15-year-old.
Yeah.
That's stressful. That would stress me out. Yeah. I mean, that's so much curriculum.
I mean, that'd be a good time to just be a PE teacher too.
Yeah.
He was an alumnus of Purdue University, where he was a member of the Alpha Gamma Rho fraternity. He received a Bachelor of Science degree in agriculture in 1932 and then a doctorate in agriculture economics in 1937. In 1948, he became the vice president of the American Agricultural Economics Association, and 3 years later was named to the same post at the American Society of Farm Managers and Rural Appraisers.
Oh.
In 1954, he was appointed Assistant Secretary of Agriculture by President Dwight D. Eisenhower.
Okay.
That same year, he was also named chairman of the United States delegation to the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations. He left both of the aforementioned posts in 1957 when he became the Dean of Agriculture at his alma mater, Purdue University.
Wow.
In 1968, he was promoted to the positions of Dean of Education and Vice President of the university's Research Foundation. In 1968, he also ran for governor of Indiana, but came in a distant third at the Republican State Convention to eventual winner Edgar Whitcomb and future governor Otis R. Bowen.
Okay, so I mean, he's got a very rich agricultural background. So it makes sense that maybe he's in this position.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
So he was assistant. Let's talk about the time he was in office. So he was Assistant Secretary of Agriculture in Washington, D.C. from 1954 to 1957 under Eisenhower. In 1971, President Richard Nixon appointed Butz as Secretary of Agriculture, a position which he continued to serve after Nixon resigned in 1974 as a result of the Watergate scandal. He was Secretary of Agriculture from 1971 to 76 under Presidents Richard Nixon and Gerald Ford.
Okay.
In his time heading the USDA, Butz drastically changed federal agricultural policy and re-engineered many New Deal-era farm support programs. For example, he abolished a program that paid corn farmers to not plant out all their land.
So, okay, say that again?
He abolished a program that paid corn farmers to not plant all their land.
Oh, wait, so that they don't so that they do it in the cycle, so that the soil doesn't get eroded or messed up, or if you're planting too much?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
This program had unsuccessfully attempted to prevent a national oversupply of corn and low corn prices. Because that's what a lot of farmers were doing. And remember later on they do that genetically engineered corn.
Yes.
Where the government pays them to not make good corn, but make the genetically engineered.
Yeah. Ooh.
His mantra to farmers was, quote, "Get big or get out," end quote. And he urged farmers to plant commodity crops such as corn from fence row to fence row.
Oh.
These policy shifts coincided with the rise of major agribusiness corporations and the declining financial stability of the small family farm. Butz took over the Department of Agriculture during the most recent period in American history that food prices climbed high enough to generate political heat. In 1972, the Soviet Union, suffering disastrous harvest, purchased 30 million tons of American grain. Butz had helped to arrange that sale in the hope of giving a boost to crop prices to bring restive farmers tempted to vote for George McGovern into the Republican fold.
Oh, here we go.
He was featured in the documentary King Corn, recognizes the person who started the rise of corn production, large commercial farms, and the abundance of corn in American diets. Because remember, they used that corn in syrups, right? In sugars, with you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, corn syrup.
Corn syrup, and corn syrup's in fucking everything.
Yeah.
It's in everything.
I never think about like how corn syrup is made.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then cereals.
Yeah.
Wow.
I know.
And it's not like corn is good, but it's not like a very nutritious vegetable, like compared to like spinach or kale or like other vegetables.
Yeah.
You know?
So by artificially increasing demand for food, food production became more efficient and drove down the cost of food for everyone.
Okay.
So a couple of things he said. These are the scandals. He just was a big mouth. He think he's funny. So he did. There was a Pope joke. Now, in 1970s, we don't make fun of the Pope.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe you did. But it's not a good look. Okay? So at the 1974 World Food Conference in Rome, Butz made fun of Pope Paul VI opposition to population control by quipping in a mock Italian accent, "He no play of the game, he no make of the rules." End quote.
What? So not only does he insult the Pope, but he insults the Italian people?
Mecca.
What?
A spokesman for Cardinal
What?
Cook.
I'm insulted.
Yeah,
I'm insulted.
Me too. A spokesman for Cardinal Cook of the New York Archdiocese demanded an apology, and the White House requested that he apologize. Butz issued a statement saying that he had not, quote, intended to impugn the motives or the integrity of any religious group, ethnic group, or religious leader, end quote. I mean, that's exactly what you did.
Yeah.
Through a spokesman, he stated that media outlets had taken this position of his statement out of their original context, which was that of retelling a joke.
Okay.
So it's not my fault y'all don't have a sense of humor.
Yeah, no.
It's not my fault.
No.
Okay, so here's like the main fucking joke that he told. And here's the thing. If he's saying things like this in public in front of other people, what is he saying behind closed doors? And everybody said, oh, he's a cut up, you know, like he would say funny things all the time, but
no.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
So news outlets revealed a racist remark he made in front of entertainers Pat Boone and Sonny Bono and former White House counsel John Dean while aboard a commercial flight to California following the 1976 Republican National Convention.
Oh my God.
So the October 18th, 1976 issue of Time reported the comment while obscuring its vulgarity, but I'm gonna say the whole thing. Butz started by telling a dirty joke involving intercourse between a dog and a skunk, and when the conversation turned to politics, Pat Boone, a right-wing Republican, asked Buzz why the party of Lincoln was not able to attract more blacks. This Pat Boone, stick to singing, you stupid fuck.
Oh my God.
The secretary responded.
Is he the one that had the floppy hat or something?
No, but he had like that coiffed hair.
Yeah.
He's still a fucking. I don't know if he's still alive, but I remember him in the 90s being a fucking loudmouth Republican. So Butz, the secretary Butz, he responded with a line so obscene and insulting to blacks that it forced him out of the cabinet and jolted the whole Ford campaign. So
no! What
Butz
the heck did he say? Oh no.
Tina, I'm sorry. Oh God, okay. Quote, "I'll tell you what the coloreds want. It's 3 things. A tight pussy, second, loose shoes, and third, a warm place to shit." End quote.
Ew. What is wrong with him?
I mean,
and Sonny Bono's on this plane?
Yeah. Sonny Bono's sitting there.
And he doesn't like punch this guy in the face?
No, see, that's why Cher's the shit. You understand?
Yes.
She fucking
that's why
that
she dumped
short motherfucker.
his tiny ass.
Fuck you. So, that's a hell of a line. And also, like,
I don't even
who doesn't want all of those things? I don't know how that's attributed to blacks. Who doesn't want a tight pussy and loose shoes and a warm place to take a shit? Tina? Aren't we all looking for that?
I mean, yeah, why not?
Hi.
I don't even understand it. Maybe I'm just too stupid.
He thinks he's funny.
Yeah.
So after some indecision, Dean, who was the White House counsel, who was on the plane, he used the line in Rolling Stone attributing it to an unnamed cabinet officer.
Oh, God.
But New Times Magazine enterprisingly sleuthed out Butz's identity by checking the itineraries of all cabinet members. You dummy!
Oh, my God.
This is so funny.
This is why journalists are freaking amazing.
And and this is before...
it was on... Let me go see what's happening.
Yeah. By the way, this is before Google, right? So you just had to do a little bit of extra legwork. Okay. So he, of course... not of course, but... Wow, he resigns October 4th, 1976, right? Like
that would never happen today.
Yeah, it's like he's
never happens.
He's like, oh, you want me to talk about tight pussies? Bye.
Right. He would be. They're the accolades that would be surrounding him from like the Fox Newses of the world. Like, he would be celebrated.
Yeah. So the reference in time was to, of course, John Dean's article published in Rolling Stone. That quote. In any case, according to the Washington Post, anyone familiar with Beltway politics could, quote, have not the tiniest doubt in their minds to which cabinet officer, unquote, uttered it. Like, everybody knew, because this is how he was. The Associated Press sent the uncensored quotation over the wire, but the Columbia Journalism Review identified only 2 city newspapers, the Toledo Blade in Ohio and the Madison Capital Times in Wisconsin, that published the remark unchanged.
Ooh.
1974.
Yeah, that's big for them.
Others changed the quote.
Especially like, yeah.
Others changed the quote, in some cases replacing the female genital reference with a tight obscenity, and the scatological reference with a warm place to vulgarism, it said, or warm toilet seats.
Oh, warm toilet seats.
Yeah.
Okay.
The Lubbock Avalanche Journal.
Not for nothing, I wouldn't mind a warm toilet seat.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like this quote is so fucked.
I don't understand it.
Yeah. Do white guys want a loose pussy? I'm confused.
Yeah, I don't understand.
Anyway.
But maybe because we're not like I don't understand the joke.
All I know is that I know I could never have this, but I'd love this episode to just be called pussy. A word that I have embraced over time.
Woo.
The Lubbock Avalanche Journal said the original statement was available in the newspaper office. More than 200 stopped by to read it. So they wouldn't even issue it.
Wow.
You just come by and everybody's reading the words.
Wow.
The San Diego Evening Tribune offered to mail a copy of the whole quotation to anyone who requested it. More than 3,000 readers did. Because we love it.
They want to know.
We love our obscenities in America. The quotation was among the inspirations behind the comedy film Loose Shoes, particularly the sketch Darktown After Dark, made in 1977 but released in 1980.
What is that? Is this?
I have no idea. I didn't look it up.
Yeah, I'm like, this sounds like some like, is it some racist
Loose Shoes
movie?
No.
Okay,
so a little aftermath and when he died. So Butz returned to West Lafayette, Indiana, and was named Dean Emeritus of Purdue School of Agriculture. This is when he...
Wow. Way to go, Purdue. Wait, this is the stuff that people need to call out.
Yeah, no.
Like, what are you doing?
No, we're going to give them a job.
And, their tuition there, and how many people do their little online, like, especially in the world of education, they have, like, their online, like, programs for teachers. Come on.
Yeah. On May 22nd, 1981, Butz pleaded guilty to federal tax evasion charges for having underreported income he earned in 1978. On June 19th, he was sentenced to 5 years in prison. All but 30 days of the term was suspended.
Wow.
He did 30 days.
Holy crap.
For a 5-year sentence.
Well,
this is what I mean. He had powerful friends, right?
Of course.
Like he has to resign from this, and he goes right back to Indiana. And it's like, oh, here's our friend. We're gonna give him work.
As a dean of a university, and like that is a lot of money.
Yeah.
It's a lot of money.
Yeah. He was also fined $10,000 in order to pay $61,183 in civil penalties.
Oh, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Back then.
He's got money.
Yeah.
Butz continued to serve on corporate boards and speak on agricultural policy at an international conference in Geneva, Switzerland, sponsored by Agra Energy Roundtable. On May 23rd, 1983, Butz warned his audience concerning ethanol production and subsidies. Those who ride the tiger may find dismounting difficult. End quote.
God,
this is
but
ethanol, all that stuff. This is the stuff that he was pushing before.
Right.
A number of those present had represented their countries during the famous 1974 World Food Security Summit in Rome, where he did that joke, where Butz had led the U.S. delegation. He died in his sleep February 2nd, 2008 in Kensington, Maryland.
Oh, he lived a long time.
Yeah. And at his death, he was the oldest living former cabinet member from any administration.
Wow. I mean, yeah.
That's Earl Butz.
Wow.
B-U-T-Z.
He's an ass.
Oh my God. Ooh,
All
short
right.
and sweet, baby.
All right, well, I'm going to turn things the other way. I'm sorry.
God damn it!
I'm sorry! All right, so I'm going to kind of start with this quote that is, it's often been attributed to Sinclair Lewis, but he didn't actually say it, and it's sort of the gist of his book, It Can't Happen Here, which this summer I'm planning to read from top, because I've read like little parts here and there, but I need to read the entire thing, and my husband keeps telling me like, you need to read this book because it's like what's happening in America now, even though he wrote this a long time ago. But the quote is, when fascism comes to America, it will be wrapped in the flag and carrying a cross. And that sounds about right with what's happening today, right?
Yes.
I mean, with MAGA and like the evangelicals, like this is what's happening.
Yeah.
So today I'm going to tell you the story of white nationalist and domestic terrorist Christopher Hasson.
Oh,
so,
is this a military shooting?
Yes.
I've almost done this one. Because this is in Texas, right?
This is in Maryland. This is another one.
There's one in Texas, and it's the same. All right.
Well, it's not a military shoot. He's a military guy.
Okay. There's a shooting at a military base in Texas, and this military base, I'm going to cover it. I can't remember the name of it right now. There's a military base in Texas where there's so much violence. The girl that went missing and they found her body. That military base.
Yes.
And there was also a shooting. There was a Muslim American, and they made it like, it's because he's Muslim.
Yes.
But there's so much violence at that military base.
And
all that, like
the American
number of
military
instances a year
needs to start addressing the white supremacy that are, that's in its ranks too.
Oh shit.
All right, so Christopher Hasson began his military career in 1988 and later served in the U.S. Coast Guard for over 20 years. But when his home is raided in 2019, the FBI finds a cache of weapons and letters revealing a dangerous murder plot. Our story takes place in Maryland, and my husband and I talk about Maryland all the time because he's like, this is the place where we need to move to because it's more liberal and yes, there are of course Republicans and that's fine, but as a potential like safe state to move to one day if like things continue to get horrible or like when our kids are older or you know what I mean, like but it's not
Baltimore is like such a fucking great city. A great city.
I mean, I really think it would be cool.
In Baltimore, it's close to so many other places.
Yes,
you can be in DC in fucking 25 minutes.
That's what we were talking about. Like it's like, and it's close to like Pennsylvania. Like it's close to everything. Yeah. But it's not all sunshine and rainbows, as we'll see with this guy. So I don't have like a whole ton of background on Hasson, but what I found was, and this was reported by the New York Times, that he served in the Marines first from 1988 to 1993. So he had 5 years there. Then he did 2 years of active duty with the Army National Guard. Then he served in the Coast Guard for that 20-year time period. And from 2016 onward, he was working as an acquisitions officer for the Coast Guard. And he was a lieutenant. So I think he had the lieutenant title maybe from his earlier military career, and it carried over into the Coast Guard. So I'm going to just jump right into it.
Oh, shit.
In February 2019, the FBI raids the home of Christopher Hasson, and they find that this lieutenant of the U.S. Coast Guard, and also an alleged white nationalist, according to letters he had on his computer, had a stockpile of weapons in his home along with drugs. He had 15 firearms, and the post is online, and on our socials I'm going to show a picture of like what they found, and you can see like the cache for yourself. But the types of weapons he had were 7 rifles, 2 shotguns, 4 pistols, 2 revolvers, silencers, and thousands of rounds of ammunition. And he was also part of they found that he was also part of an online sniper group.
What?
And a sharpshooter forum, right? So like he has military training, so he probably knows how to be a sharpshooter. And I mean, this is dangerous. It's
really scary. Yeah.
And why one human being needs this many guns is ridiculous. Like, and I'm not a gun fan. I'm not a gun fan. Like for me, I'm like heavy reform all the way. I don't think that one person needs to have access to this many weapons. You want to have your handgun? Fine. Maybe you like to go hunting, you can have your one rifle that's like a regular shotgun, like a double barrel that isn't like a automatic, semi-automatic rifle. Fine. But other than that, like, no. I say no. Stop hunting the deer, stop hunting people. Like, I'm not into it. I don't even like hunting. You know, I don't know. I don't like it. All right.
There has to be some sort of sensible
There
gun
has to
reform.
be something. But having someone have a stockpile of weapons, it's insane.
Yeah.
It's one human being. They should have on record, no, you already have a rifle. You don't need 5. You don't need 7. You don't need 1,000 rounds of ammunition.
Yeah, it's
Why do you
excessive.
need this?
It's excessive.
So according to the New York Times, he had this hit list that they found on his computer. It was like a spreadsheet.
Fuck this.
And on the hit list were journalists, Democratic politicians, professors, SCOTUS judges, and other persons he considered, quote, leftists in general.
Dang.
And the article goes on to name some of the folks who he deemed traitors, which included hosts of CNN and MSNBC programs, like the well-known hosts, obviously, like the Morning Joe guy and stuff like that, Nancy Pelosi, AOC, Maxine Waters, Cory Booker, Richard Blumenthal, Kamala Harris, and many 2020 Senate candidates, Democratic, of course. And they found, like, you know, when they take your computer, they can look up your search history and all of that.
No.
And they saw that he was Googling to see if SCOTUS or if senators had Secret Service protection. And to me, it's just so scary. Like, you don't know who's out there plotting.
Yeah.
You don't know who is out there plotting, thinking about stuff like this, right? I mean, we just saw the kid in Buffalo, and he's not the first person to do this, right? We had the synagogue in Pittsburgh. We had the in Virginia. We had all of these things happening. Like, there's probably someone somewhere now plotting something, you know. And when you have, I saw this statistic the other day and I freaked out. Almost 40% of the country, almost 40% of the country think that the election was stolen.
Yeah.
And that almost 40, like, it would be one thing to go, okay, like 5% of the people, like, there's all these Republicans, and maybe 5% believe, like, this extreme thing that the election was stolen in America. But 40% is a large number.
Well, I mean,
that's a large number. That's almost half of this country think that the presidency is false.
But you have to remember too that people are really dumb.
I know.
I mean, they're really dumb. And the worst thing about humans is how gullible we are and how manipulative we can be, you know, or manipulated we can be. It's so easy. Like we were talking about earlier with white supremacy, it's so easy to just make somebody feel like they're better than someone else, and then they'll disregard them as other, and they'll disregard them.
But they
so
disregard
they feel more
logic.
powerful.
They disregard logic.
It's about ego and power, and just giving somebody a little bit, you know, just a little bit, like being friends with an elected.
Yeah.
Oh, this guy's my buddy. I want him to be elected. Oh, this, even though they're shitty and can't win, or they're doing bad things,
they don't care.
That's okay. I'm still gonna support them because X, Y, Z.
Yeah, we can't do this anymore.
Charlie Crist just came out and said nothing has changed from his stance on abortion.
Yeah, thanks, Charlie.
But still, we got these fucking Democrats who want to support this motherfucker.
Yeah, I'm over it. We got to start calling them out too.
All right.
So, the Navy Times indicated that he spent $12,000 in 3 years buying those weapons.
Holy cow!
$12,000, and he also, along with the weapons, bought body armor, smoke grenades, and tactical vests. I mean, what is he doing? Yeah. Why does a civilian need this gear? You know, if you want to be go stay in the military and go serve and use all the weapons that you want, right? I mean, it's ridiculous.
You know, after the shooting in Buffalo, I saw a lot of things, and there was a great tweet that went viral, and it talked about, you know, freedom isn't owning all the guns you want. Freedom is being able to move about the world without the fear of being shot.
Right.
You know, so when your freedoms are impeding on me going to the grocery store,
right,
or my kids going to school,
and
then it's probably not. If your small amounts of freedom,
right,
are putting lives in danger, people are being murdered because of it, we might have to analyze that.
Right.
We might have to talk about that.
And you know, my husband made such a great point, because we were talking about the Buffalo shooting, and he's like this asshole, you know, like, I mean, he was livid, and he's like, you know, this replacement theory, he's like, he killed grandmothers.
Yeah.
He killed people that he's like, what, it doesn't make any sense. You know, when you look at the amazing people that were lost because of this ugly disease that we have, this disgusting human being.
Yeah.
Who was treated so much differently. And there were people that were at that supermarket. I read a great article from a woman whose daughter was there, and she's on the phone. Her daughter calls, she's like, call 911, like there's a shooter, and she's on the phone with her daughter. And then like the phone goes silent, and she's on the other line freaking out. She's like, I got out. Like the fear that this mother must have had. But they talk about how in that neighborhood, cops do not treat them gently. They don't treat them with soft gloves, right? They hit hard in that community. Yet this guy was treated with the utmost of care. It's such bullshit. And when people don't understand why communities and black people are pissed off, like, come on. It's ridiculous. Like, we all can see it.
Yeah.
Oh my God. All right, so at the time, federal prosecutors described him as a domestic terrorist, and they also noted that his intent was clear, which was to, quote, murder innocent civilians on a scale rarely seen in this country. I have to argue with the rarely seen because I feel like we see it all the time.
I mean, and also
all the time.
You know, when mass shootings happen, you start looking at news from around the, like, people reacting from around the world, and they are still like, why is this still happening in America?
Yeah.
What is the... the first thing my mother said to me is like, remember that shooting in New Zealand fucking 10 years ago and they completely banned assault weapons? They haven't had another mass shooting.
No.
Like, they just flat out, like, 2 days later, banned assault weapons. And I mean, that we're, you know, these are a lot of conservatives over there in New Zealand. So, like, you know, it's our culture. We have this messed up culture and mindset. I just feel like everything's coming to a head. I thought Trump was the coming to the head, but it's not.
No.
We're nowhere near it yet.
It's coming. And it's going to be bad.
Yeah.
It's going to be
It might be a DeSantis presidency.
I can't, because it's going to be the end of America. Like, I don't even know. I'm so stressed out. I'm getting my Italian citizenship. That is what
I can't believe you haven't done that yet.
I know. Well, it's very expensive.
Girl, it's an investment.
I know. It's going to cost like $5,000 though.
Might be a fucking safety net.
For like the whole family to do it.
The four of you?
For the four of us to do it, it's going to be like $5,000-$6,000.
You better
which is a lot.
Take your parents too, though.
Which is a lot. And it takes 1 to 2 years, so I have to.
But you just did this when you did it, so like, can that give you a discount?
I wish.
Hey, with the fingers together. I know. I do this for the video. I don't know if you can't see with the audio. I'm putting my fingers together.
I have like all the paperwork, and I could probably do it myself, but I just need to pay someone so I don't have to think about it.
Yeah.
But like, that's what I need to do.
Girl.
All right, so in addition, the Times also noted that investigators found evidence that he wanted to kill off everyone, writing in a draft letter found on his computer, quote, I am dreaming of a way to kill almost every last person on Earth.
Jesus.
I think a plague would be most successful, but how do I acquire the needed Spanish flu, botulism, anthrax? Not sure yet, but we'll find something.
Wow, COVID.
Yeah, and then COVID happened. And there was also evidence that he wanted to start a race war. Quote, much blood will have to be spilled to get Whitey off the couch. And he was really into...
I'm trying to get Whitey off the couch to vote.
I know.
I mean, does he have any... Are there anything in those plans that get people off the fucking Whitey off the couch?
I know. God damn it. And he was really into what was happening in Oregon, and it was a story that you covered back in episode 34 on the, God, what are their names? The Hammond brothers. Yes. So he was like really into that, and he wanted to piggyback off of that drama, writing, quote, please send me your violence that I may unleash it onto their heads. Guide my hate to make a lasting impression on this world.
Wow.
And then he wrote about shaking things up with this cuckoo plan. He wrote, quote, food, fuel may be the key. If I can disrupt 2 or 3 weeks, right? So if he can stop food supply, then people would start looting or protesting or doing things. Then he said he would, quote, dress as a cop and shoot them, burn down apartment complex, bar the doors first, thermite on gas station tank. Like,
my God.
Yeah, I mean, it was like thing after thing after thing that they're finding. And I have...
what happened to this guy?
I have
you know what I mean? Like,
I know.
What happened to him?
Well, he apparently, like, for years has been, like, this self-proclaimed white supremacist, white nationalist, skinhead kind of dude. And I have the link, I forget which article it was, but it has in there the PDF of all of, like, the documents that he was writing. So he also drafted a letter to a neo-Nazi, letting him know that he liked his idea of starting a, quote, white homeland in the Pacific Northwest. Now, the Pacific Northwest, dear God.
Yeah.
Patch wrote an article noting that this idea...
There's a lot of serial killers out there.
That's
so
what I was saying.
Maybe you should go out there.
Yeah, well, for all its beauty, we have, like, serial killers and neo-Nazis.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell is going on in the Pacific Northwest, guys? Like, get it together.
God.
But I guess this idea of, like, starting an ethno-state in the Pacific Northwest has been around since the 1980s. That there have been people, like, who have gone there and, like, try to start, like, these, like, ethno-state communes, things like that to gather white people. It's
militias, basically, really.
Yes. So...
Wow.
It's a thing. Some other disturbing quotes from his letters as reported by the New York Times, quote, I never saw a reason for mass protest or wearing uniforms marching around provoking people with swastikas, etc. I was and am a man of action. You cannot change minds protesting like that. However, you can make change with a little focused violence.
Oh my God.
And in another passage, I am a longtime white nationalist, have been a skinhead 30 plus years before my time in the military. So prosecutors alleged, according to NPR, that Hasson was inspired by this guy, Anders Breivik. I'm not saying it right, but he was this Norwegian right-wing nut who killed 77 people in Norway. He used a bomb along with, like, shooting them, and he had a manifesto.
Like a camp or something, or an island. It was a weird fucking thing. I remember this.
And he had a manifesto, and so he was, like, inspired by this guy.
Oh my God.
And it's the NPR news article that has that PDF of the court docs where you can see, like, all the letters and all that information. All right, so, and it's pretty intense, like some of the other stuff. Like when you read through the full letters, you're like, what? It's good. Like, it's clear that he had a plan. So the charges: 1 count felony firearms charge, 1 count unlawful possession of unregistered silencers, 1 unlawful possession of firearms silencers, 1 misdemeanor drug charge. So the drug charge was for these tramadol pills that he bought online. He bought thousands of them, and they found, like, a stash of them. I guess he was, like, just taking these pain pills.
What is pain pills?
It's like a type of opioid, and he was taking that, like, daily.
Oh, he's all fucked up.
So he's all messed up, yeah.
Jesus.
So his attorney, public defender Julie Stelazig,
poor thing,
fought for his release until trial, saying, quote, we are not yet a country that detains people for their internet searches or deleted documents.
Maybe
whatever,
Julie.
Be. Yeah,
maybe we should be. The internet is a scary fucking place, you know?
Yes.
I tell you what I'm Googling, like, how to get rid of hip fat. By the way, it's lunges, by the way, and squats.
Well, sometimes with this podcast, we're looking up so many different things, so I'm like, God, my internet searches. But then they'll go, okay, she has a podcast. Like, it makes sense, but other people...
Oh my God.
U.S. Attorney for Maryland prosecuting the case, Robert Hur, felt that Hasson's capacity as a government official made this all the more terrible, noting, quote, the sheer number and force of the weapons that were recovered from Mr. Hasson's residence, in this case, coupled with the disturbing nature of his writings, appear to reflect a very significant threat to the safety of our community, particularly given the position of trust that Mr. Hasson held. I mean, he is in the U.S. military, right? I mean, you're supposed to be protecting people in America.
And probably could move freely in any sort of, like, political event or something. You know what I mean? Put his uniform on and everybody's like, oh yeah, there he is. Then, they'll be able to walk through.
I mean...
You know what I mean?
So according to the New York Times, he pleads guilty to the charges in October 2019, but... in March of that year, he had pled not guilty, but then later on in October, the writing's on the wall.
We have too much shit on you, bro.
And he pleads guilty. So according to the New York Times and several other sources, Hasson was sentenced to 13 years. Which I felt like that's it, like 13 measly years, which we know will most likely be less, right? He faced about 31 years. but ends up with 13. And according to 13 News Now, the judge in the case added a terrorism enhancement, which got him the 13 years because he wasn't. So even though they were calling him a domestic terrorist, they never charged him with domestic terrorism. They only charged him for the weapons and for the drugs. So with those like weapons charges, he could have got less time. So the judge adds on this enhancement because there was no charge.
So I wonder why. What is the charge? What do you have to do to charge domestic terrorism? Kill somebody?
Yeah, like I feel like it's very, very clear that he's got letters and he's a nationalist.
His plan is to target, people who are leftists
and elected officials and SCOTUS. I mean, come on.
Yeah. Oh God, who knows? It's so difficult because I was watching a show recently. I forgot what it was, but the law is very particular. Sometimes it's very narrow. Yeah. And even though the DAs want to charge someone, they have to have very specific evidence of something that had happened. And so you have to go through everything. And sometimes families are disappointed because you can't charge somebody with something.
I mean,
but it's a very narrow definition of like what is domestic terrorism. Maybe.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. But his attorneys actually tried to just get him time served. So thank God he got some time.
Oh my God, time served.
They said he had been through enough and that he never really hurt anyone.
See, this is the problem.
Like he never really hurt anyone. So again, we have to wait till people are dead.
Yeah. I sat on a jury for a federal case.
Oh my God.
And it was a setup. It was somebody who was like, I want to sell these drugs, right?
Right.
And so the person who was like, who the guy went to say, hey, sell these drugs to me or guns or something like that, he went to the police. And so the police recorded several meetings with all of them and like it's like entrapment.
Right.
I mean, that's what they were trying to say. But it was really just a setup to see if they went through. And he did go through and he got charged with it, blah, blah, blah. But it's the same thing. It's like he didn't actually do it, but he planned on doing it. He planned the whole thing and showed up for the actual sale or whatever
Come on.
So
he would have done it. If it wasn't a sting and it was real, he would have done it.
Same thing with this guy.
Yes. So I love that, like, he's been through enough. Like, really?
Also, this man is so fucking angry. My God.
I know. Well, they tried to
when you're that obsessed like that, what is that fucking like every day in his head?
I don't know.
My God.
I don't know.
So fucking angry. Well, like, can somebody just blow this guy already? Like, blow him. Get a smile on his face. And maybe if he comes in someone's mouth.
Woo!
Or gets a tight pussy.
Oh, dang!
Hi. Wow. Maybe for 5 minutes he'll think less about white supremacy. Think less about white supremacy and more about fucking. My solution for everything is just go get fucked.
Oh my God. Well, I know. So they also were painting him as your typical doomsday, like run-of-the-mill doomsday prepper. Like he's just a doomsday prepper. He's just piling guns for that. Like he's not, he's not really going to kill anyone. Okay. And he was a, quote, peaceful, loving family man.
Was he?
Yeah, apparently
he
so.
Had a family?
Apparently so.
Holy shit, that's shocking.
If those writings in that stockpile weapons say peaceful and loving, then we are living in the upside down, people. We are living in the upside down.
Stranger Things is coming back.
I know.
He's got kids and he's still got time to be this hateful. Those kids keep you fucking busy. I don't have time to do anything. Are you kidding me? Stockpile weapons have a manifesto. I'm lucky if I can make a grocery list.
Well, I don't know if he was married with kids. Like, I don't know.
Family man.
He's a family man, so he must, right? Jesus. I didn't get those details. Or maybe I do later on and I just don't remember. All right, so U.S. Attorney Robert Hur had this to say, quote, Mr. Hasson held racist and hateful views, and he spoke racist and hateful speech. Right? And he denounced the decision. But Mr. Hasson crossed the line between racist thoughts and racist speech. He crossed the line into racist and violent action.
Ooh.
He did, right? It's one thing to hold some ideas. It's another to spend years stockpiling weapons and writing about how you want to hurt people.
Also,
this isn't just your journal. I don't know. You're making plans.
I'm not trying to make a light of it because it's obviously fucking awful. But there are other things to do. I don't know. You can have these ideas, but can't you do things to keep you busy? Join a softball league. I don't know. Watch Stranger Things. That'll take you a fucking week. Binge watch it.
Well, how about read things to make you question why you have the thoughts that you do, and maybe break out of this cycle.
Yeah, if I had thoughts of like,
have.
I want to buy a gun so I can shoot everybody, I say I need to make an immediate therapy appointment.
Right.
Like something's not
but maybe
clicking.
if you're that far gone, like you don't, and you're like, maybe you're not capable of making a decision like that.
Or you think you're right because you were raised this way. I mean, hate does not come from nowhere. It comes from your family, how you were raised.
So at his sentencing, Hasson said, quote, "I am embarrassed by these things and sorry for the pain they have caused."
What?
After he claimed that he wasn't planning on hurting anyone. So like he basically was like, I wasn't planning on hurting anyone. Like I'm so sorry. I don't believe it. Like maybe you're embarrassed because you got caught.
Well, usually these guys are like, fuck everybody. Like they stick by their shit. That's that's wild.
Yeah. The Associated Press reported that Admiral Carl Schultz had this to say regarding the sentencing, quote, "Any semblance of hate, bigotry, or advocacy of violence has no place in our Coast Guard. This includes involvement with white supremacist or extremist groups of any type. This behavior is incompatible with the Coast Guard's core values of honor, respect, and devotion to duty." So the aftermath. The Associated Press also reported that Hasson no longer has access to his retirement benefits as a result. I mean, he is a career military man, and it's all gone. Like for sure, his Coast Guard benefits are like gone.
Oh my God, dude!
Which is huge.
That's huge.
And so remember that terrorism enhancement? 13 News reported that because of that, his lawyers then later on, like after all this was over, tried to get the sentence vacated since they don't think it was fair or legal for the judge to add that enhancement, because without the enhancement, he would only have to serve 4 years in jail, not the 13. But the judge was probably like, no, we got to do something. Enough. However, the Navy Times reported that the appeals court held up the 13-year sentence.
Good.
Thank God.
Yeah.
So some points of interest, according to the New York Times, who cited Blumenthal's reaction to the hit list. So remember, he was an elected official who was on that list. It seems like folks on the list were not contacted or told that they were on a white domestic terrorist radar. Oh. Blumenthal noted, quote, "I found out from the news when I heard about it.
Oh my night. God.
Like it just came out and he's like, oh, my name's on the list.
Immediately call the fucking send FBI agents to their houses. I mean, what are you talking about?
Another thing I found interesting is when one of the New York Times articles was printed, so recall this went down in 2019, 2020. It linked to another article about hate groups that were on the rise for the 4th year in a row. So it's no damn coincidence that the MAGA delusion and the QAnon groups and the access they have to social media platforms have contributed to this.
Absolutely.
Right?
It's really bad.
Every episode we're like, wake up, wake up, wake up. But come on. They're really, plotting to kill black and brown people and anyone who will stand up for them. And the people who think they're untouchable, they're going to be coming for you next.
Yeah.
No one is untouchable. And I know I've read it on this podcast before, and I'm going to read it again because I don't care. But it's that poem, "First they came for the socialists, and I did not speak out because I was not a socialist. Then they came for the trade unionists, and I did not speak out because I was not a trade unionist. Then they came for the Jews, and I did not speak out because I was not a Jew. Then they came for me, and there was no one left to speak for me." Like, that is it. Like, you cannot just stand by and go, well, it's not happening to me. Like, we have to be more vocal and loud and just continue to call these people out.
And here's the thing. It doesn't have to be a major, like, this thing happened. It could be at the dinner table when somebody makes a racist fucking joke, or the Uber driver we talked about earlier. It's just saying, I don't like that. I don't tolerate it. Right. It's as simple as that. It's as simple as a racist fucking joke, or a
like
misogynist,
get up and walk away. Get
joke.
Up and walk away.
And but you should say to them, listen, I know you think that's funny,
but not funny.
It's not funny, and it's not cool to make fun of people or make racist jokes like that. Just say that. And even if they get defensive, like, no, just not for me. And make them stop for a second.
Right.
And remember, like, think about that. Maybe they won't repeat it. Because those things aren't funny. It starts with little microaggressions like that. And you should just stand up and say, I don't think so. It's not okay.
It's not okay.
And you know what else? Especially in front of your children. Don't let shit fly in front of your fucking kids.
No,
ever.
No.
Ever.
I can't tell, and I've said this before on here, I can't tell you how many times, like, especially when I'm watching old movies from the 80s and even the 90s, there are just so many, like, racist things, misogynistic things, like, I'm like, pause, we need to talk about this. This isn't, like, and my husband gets annoyed with me sometimes. but I feel like that's what I have to do because they need to understand. And like we grew up looking at that, and so of course like then it's internalized that this stuff is okay, and you have to learn that it's not okay.
Yeah,
and that takes work and time and learning to step back, learning to be okay that other people take the lead on things. Like it's okay.
Yeah,
it's okay to be the supportive person in the background. Like it's fine.
And you want your kids to be able to recognize it. You want them to be able to sit there and hear something and go, that doesn't sound right.
Right.
You want them to be able to acknowledge that something's not fucking right. And really can't expect them to do so much now because they're so young. But to at least step up and say, I don't fucking think that's okay. Or hear something and know that it's fucking racist and be uncomfortable. I want my kids to be fucking uncomfortable when they hear something. Not that it's like, oh, this is okay. No, I want you to be fucking uncomfortable.
This week with I mean, there's so much with like abortion and Oklahoma. It's just like, it's just one, it never stops. Like I was under the delusion that somehow when Trump was out of office, that these weekly, because remember it was like every other day, like it was like just the stress of like what is happening. And I thought, well, maybe there'll be a reprieve. And there's been some reprieve because we don't see his face every day in the news. But the remnants of what he has left, these things sprouting everywhere because of that ugliness, it's like never ending. It's never ending.
Well, even when he got elected, people were like, oh, it'll be that big of a deal. It's only 4 years. You always love to talk about those judges. It's a lasting effect. And it's not just Supreme Court, which is a lifetime position, which should not be.
Right.
Let's change that, by the way.
Yes.
It's the federal judges. It's,
oh my God.
All of those levels.
Because when you go up to the appeals, right? Like when we see it like in Florida, when DeSantis wants to gerrymander something, and then it goes to maybe one court, and then that court says, no, you're wrong, and then he pushes it to a higher court.
Which it came back out. The maps came out okay.
The maps came out okay because those courts are now filled with people.
Yeah.
Right, that were appointed by a nut job or lean a certain way. Like, we try to say that these seats are these nonpartisan seats, but they're not. They're not. And it's just like, what next? What next? What other rights are going to be continued to be taken away? So, going back to this, BuzzFeed News made a great point. A guy accused of plotting domestic terror doesn't get charged with domestic terrorism. And I read that whole article and I'm like, yeah, it's insane.
Yeah.
Like, it was clear he had a plot. Like, can we start charging these people for that?
Yeah.
Can we start doing that?
I think that, but I gotta tell you, besides this case,
right?
I think that is a real fucking thing. Like, this guy from Buffalo, I think, is going to be charged with domestic terrorism.
Good.
I think that it's very clear who he was targeting,
right.
and you could find all his writings and shit, his manifestos and shit. I think that's starting to happen more and more. It's happening.
So.
Yeah,
I hope so. So another thing that is really interesting and important to talk about with this story is the kind of nationalism from military folks and how this is not a new thing. The Southern Poverty Law Center wrote about it, noting that here in the state of Florida, for example, there's a man by the name of Michael Tubbs, who is the head of the South Florida chapter of the New Confederate League. He was a former Green Beret and a demolitions expert. He was arrested for trying to bring guns and explosives across state lines. He was involved with another group, which are the Knights of the New Order, which is another supremacist group. God. So this is someone, again, with this military background. They also mentioned former Klansman and Army vet Louis Beam, along with Wade Michael Page and Fraser Glenn Miller. I would love to cover all these people at some point.
Yes, we talked about the KKK before and their fun name, like Grand Wizard, the Ku Klux Klan, like all these fucking like Knights of the New Order.
I mean,
these are little men who are losers, who have to give them self-appointed titles like Knights of the New Order to feel important because they have small dicks and no money.
Yeah, they're the Knights like the one losers. On Monty Python. Yeah. With the coconut.
Yeah.
Although they were cool. So never mind.
You know what I mean? Like, it's a way to feel self-important when you're really like, and it's not even about being a loser. They're probably poor, white, working class people like us. Like, right? Like, we're not fucking rich.
No.
But like, it's a way for these men to feel important because they don't feel important in their regular lives. And they get to go somewhere and just jerk off with people. They get to say the N-word freely and jerk off in front of each other and call each other wizard. Wizard?
I know.
Bitch, please. Give me Dumbledore, give me death is what I say.
I know, they're all Slytherin.
I'm writing it down.
They're all Slytherin.
Oh, that might be a good title.
So, retired Army Reserve Lieutenant Colonel told Time magazine that the military isn't vetting white folks enough, stating, quote, "That's one of the reasons why they're having such a huge problem right now with white supremacists in the military. That's actually the big security threat right now."
Jesus.
But she notes that they do for immigrants, right? Like they do all of this like hardcore vetting of immigrants because a lot of times like immigrants will join the army because
that's a good point.
It's like a pathway to citizenship and all of that. And a survey done by the Military Times found that 1 in 4 U.S. soldiers have seen white nationalists in the military alongside them.
Wow.
That's 25% of our U.S. military.
Wow.
25%.
And we're going to foreign countries to help them.
Right. Then we get Trump, right, who starts discharging immigrant service members, right, because they're trying to get that path to citizenship, which is garbage. And The Intercept made an interesting point to say that the Department of Justice didn't put out a press release like it often does when they do arrests or raids and whatnot on other acts of terror, right? When it's not white people doing it. But for the Hasson case, for example, it was someone on Twitter who broke the news because, they'll put out I look at them all the time through this podcast, like they put out a press release and you get the information of like the raid and what happened. And they didn't do that. This journalist happened to like follow all of their cases that, even if they're not published online through a press release. And that's how he saw it and broke the news on Twitter that this thing even happened.
Wow.
So it seems biased, right? Like maybe they have their reasons for releasing or not releasing. Maybe it's like, oh, we don't want a copycat or who knows what. But like, we don't want this thing to seem biased that we're only going to be publicizing it if it's black or brown people, right? But not a white domestic terrorist. They have to just be released equally, right?
Up. Every fucking level of everything is so fucked. Every fucking level. Is anything good? Is there anything fucking good?
There's nothing good. And that neo-Nazi that Hasson wrote to allegedly was Harold Covington. This guy sold and continues to sell his neo-Nazi white supremacist bullshit books online at Amazon. And it's not just his garbage on there either. So Jeff Bezos, right? You want to do so much good in the world, right? Instead of spending your money on your whatever the hell.
Taxes?
Oh yeah, pay some taxes, pay your workers a decent wage. And why don't you start looking at the content? Because guess what? Amazon is a private business. And you can decide what's sold and what's not sold on there. So how about we start putting the boot on the neck to these guys and not letting them have access to places like Amazon for people to download this garbage.
Yeah. P.S. Even if they sue you because you throw them off of there, you've got enough money to fight this case.
You got more than enough money.
Yeah, and maybe you can have set precedent somewhere.
Yes.
That this shit's not allowed and that other private sellers could also ban it. They could follow your fucking lead.
Yeah, you want to go sell it on your own website, but you're not selling it on Amazon.
Because here's the thing.
Now Amazon is making money. So now you're complicit, right? Because you're taking money from this bullshit. And you have enough money, Jeff Bezos.
I gotta tell you, Amazon is so evil, but I fucking love it.
I have been off Amazon now for how long? Over a year. God. And it's hard. It is so damn hard, but I'm like, I can't do it. And plus my husband will kill me.
I love it. I love fucking Amazon. I can't take it. I feel guilty as fuck, but I'm like, I need these shoes tomorrow. What am I going to do? You know what I mean?
And I know that I believe it was Jeff Bezos who said that if anyone at Amazon needed to have an abortion, that he would fly them.
Oh my God.
I thought, I could be wrong, but I believe that there was something about that. So if that's the case, like, okay, you're moving in the right direction.
Yeah, but get rid of the neo-Nazi shit,
If you can get rid of the neo-Nazi shit, if you can support your employees a little bit better.
Please.
Okay, then maybe I can get back. Maybe I can get back on board with Amazon. But until then, no.
Good for you, Tina.
All right, so that's the story of Christopher Hasson, a white domestic terrorist who plotted to commit murder.
Love it. Oh God, I just saw Alfredo text come up. It says Happy Gala Day. He was here. Alfredo was here last night dropping shit off for me to do, and he said, I won't bother you until after 9:30. And I was like, because he knew we were recording. I was like, can you make it noon? Because
I know. We have a lot of editing to do.
Oh my God. He's all over our asses.
Woo! I can't wait.
Oh, I'm so excited. I just got a little bit of butterflies. I'm so excited.
I am too. I feel like, I don't know why I'm so excited, but I'm so excited.
Here's the thing,
We've been needing this.
We need it because here's the thing. We work really hard for this group. Like, we do a lot of fucking work. And so we're going to have volunteers again working the door, which is amazing, so we can enjoy the event.
Yes.
But we do a lot of work all fucking year. We have 2 meetings a month. You do all the notes. I do all the treasury stuff. I have made so many fucking graphics in the last 2 weeks for this gala. And Alfredo's very particular.
I'm sure they're beautiful and amazing.
Whatever.
I can't wait.
Whatever.
I can't wait for all of this.
I'm over it is what I'm saying.
I can't wait for all of this.
Me too. I mean, it's enough. I keep getting a spam risk call.
Oh, forget those spammers.
Spam.
All right, well, see you at the gala.